talk with our analysts one more time. John Murtagh on the right, Shannon Powell on the left. John, we got to talk about the thing we haven't talked about yet, and that is abortion. This race, all these races were somewhat turned upside down. Maybe not the primaries, but the governor's race and lieutenant governor's race, and basically every race in New York was turned upside down on Friday with the decision by the Supreme Court.
Well, I think the New York race was turned upside down Thursday and Friday, or Wednesday and Friday. The gun decision
sure,
and
right.
The abortion decision. The headwinds for a Republican in New York are all but impossible statewide now. It's just as simple as that. You can be pro-choice, you can be pro-life, you can be whatever you want. Political reality is political reality, and that's going to be a killer for statewide prospects for Republicans for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, Shannon, I have to ask you, going into this race on Tuesday anyway, I thought that this could be close, right? This reminded me of Obama in 2008. You know, our economy has started to slow down. $5 gas is on everybody's mind. The right candidate for the Republican could certainly win a race against a governor who had not been elected before for that office. Now it seems like that is a much tougher road to hoe, as John has mentioned. Do you feel that way as well?
I absolutely agree. I think that the environment changed dramatically, and John is right. That began on Tuesday. The gun law that was overturned, that was a New York law that had been law for more than a century about concealed carry, followed by the Roe decision, definitely favors Democrats. It should be able to energize our side, and that ultimately, I think, helped Kathy Hochul because she was able to be a statewide voice, and also, I said this earlier, a national voice on these two issues. So definitely, you know, that's a galvanizing thing that's going to drive Democrats to the polls. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out in November. Again, it's almost like the October surprise is sort of happening in June, but as long as this stays front and center, it's going to be at to the detriment of the Republican Party. Hearing today with testimony about Trump's role in the insurrection and this attempt, I would call it an attempted coup, and how he, you know, was basically, you know, instigating and helping instigate armed people to march on the Capitol, amongst other things. So, you know, Lee Zeldin, hours after that attack on the Capitol, the insurrection, voted to overturn the presidential election. So how is that going to play? You know, there's a lot that could come up, which could make this governor's race much more complex.
John, we only have a few seconds left, but has this January 6th inquiry, especially what happened today with this very shocking testimony from the former Mark Meadows aide, is that also something that could move the needle?
I don't think that moves the needle that much. It should. People should be outraged by what we heard today, but I think we all knew where that stood. What New York Republicans need to do right now is take a deep breath, accept the fact, I hate to say it, Lee Zeldin isn't winning in November. They need to go back to the grassroots, go back to local races and local offices across New York State where they still can win. You have a young man like Kevin Byrne up in Putnam County who's going to be the next Putnam County executive, a good Republican candidate. And he's, as I said, a young man. He's not yet 40. Look at the next 8 years, 4 years down the road and start rebuilding this party and rebuilding its message.
We'll have to